upsells, the downsells, what they email me, all that kind of stuff. I find what the landing page is, where their traffic sources are, then what's the ad copy that's getting people to click and to come over. Okay. Now for me, I will never go into a market if I have two unknowns. Maybe I can't find their ad copy, but I want to know all the rest of it. Okay. If you have two things you don't know, you need to do more research. You need to get a lot deeper. Okay. Now to find out what works, then just model what works. Okay. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Say this guy, their process is this. They're selling a product at this point. Their upsells this. The downsells this. Let's make something very, very similar and just kind of model what's working. Okay. All right. Cool. So that's how we reverse engineer a funnel and find out exactly what our competitors are doing. Okay. All right, guys. I know we're covering a lot of stuff. We've been going for about an hour 23 so far. And I know this is a lot of stuff, very intensive, and we're doing a lot of stuff. But I hope you're enjoying it so far. And again, I promise you initially be overwhelmed a little bit, and I hope you are getting that way. But the key with it right now is I want to give you guys like a brain dump of a ton of stuff, because it'll open up your eyes to just the whole picture. Too many of us get into this business and we're learning like a little piece and then a little piece and a little piece. And because of that, it's hard to make all the connections you need to really be successful with it, right? So my goal right now is just to dump everything. Here's the whole picture for you, and you'll be overwhelmed, but then you'll see the whole picture. And now you can come back and we can dig specifically into each of the little pieces and figure out what this is and what this is and how to do that, how to change that, and how to tweak that. Okay. So that's kind of how this works. All right. So next thing we're shifting to you guys now we've shown kind of, where we can find our audience. The second part of the section is how do we communicate with that audience, okay? And we communicate through a concept I call the attractive character. Now, I initially learned this whole concept from one of my friends who's in the dating market. His name is John Alanis, and John teaches men how to get women to approach them, okay? Now, I don't know about you guys, but for most men, that's like the dream offer, right? I don't want to talk to girls. I'm scared of them. I want girls to come to me. And that's what he teaches, and that's what he kind of coaches on is that how to do that. So anyway, I heard him speak one time at a marketing seminar and thought he was awesome. I had him come speak at one of my events. And in my event, he started talking about this concept called the attractive character. And I still remember like it was yesterday. He was in front of the audience and he said, look, you guys are selling all sorts of stuff. I'm selling a bunch of different stuff. He's like, but what I found is that he said that the law of attraction is the same whether you're trying to get people to, like, if you're one of my guys on my list who are trying to get women to approach them, or if you're in business and you're trying to get customers to come to you, the laws of attraction are the same. He says that we start that process by creating an attractive character. And I remember we started talking about this, I had some big ahas, and it just kind of opened my mind. And this is kind of the core concept behind the attractive character. And I'm going to break all this stuff down for you here in a minute. But first I want to kind of just give you guys some ideas about how this attractive character works. So a good example, this is one of my buddies. His name is Jacob Hiller. And some of you guys may know Jacob. He is literally one of my favorite people on earth. He's really cool. And so Jacob likes to jump. Okay, that's one of his favorite things. He jumps like crazy. And when he was in college, he just liked it so much he started making videos and posting them on YouTube about how he liked jumping and teach people how he jumped and things to increase your vertical and all sorts of stuff, right? And he started making all these YouTube videos, and guess what happened? He was so passionate and excited about jumping, he started getting this huge audience of people who were interested, and they started following him, and he started building up his platform. You know, I don't know if Jacob was doing this intentionally. I don't think he was. I think he was just passionate about a topic, and he started just putting value out there in the world. Okay. And for most of you guys, depending on where you are in your business, this is a great place to start. Pick your passion, just start putting it out there, giving away, making videos or blogging or whatever platform you're the most comfortable with putting it out there. For him, it was YouTube. And he's just dumping all these videos, and people started loving him, and he started getting 1,000 followers, then 10,000. They kept growing from there. And eventually all these people just loved him. He built this attractive character, and everyone loved what he was teaching. And somewhere along the line, I don't know if somebody told him or if he had the idea, but he thought, I could probably sell these guys something. They love everything I'm selling. Let me create a product. So he created a product called the Jump Manual that teaches people how to increase their vertical. And he went out to this audience that he already created, this platform he'd already built. And he basically said, hey guys, here's this ebook. And now he sells for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years in a row, makes over $1,000 a day consistently selling the Jump Manual. Okay, pretty exciting, don't you think? And what's cool about Jacob and his wife and his little family here is, and their story is just awesome, but they have not had a home for like 6 years, I think. When they first launched this business, they decided to travel, and so they packed up all their stuff, and they went to a country for 3 months, and then they were making tons of money out there, just doing their thing, and And then they decided, let's just go to another country. And they packed up their stuff, went to another country. And every 3 months or so, they moved to a new country. And they just live out of their suitcases. And they literally do that because their little website business is making them $1,000 a day or more. And that's kind of what he does. So it's pretty exciting. Definitely someone who kind of figured out this whole lifestyle business we talked about. Right? He found out his dream customer. For him, it's basketball and football players who want to learn how to jump higher. He found out where they're congregating, right? The basketball, the football forums, created some bait, the jump manual, and now he helps people to increase their vertical. That's where he's taking them all. And what's cool is you'll see him, like, he'll travel to Kenya and they'll be there. And he'll be out there making videos of him jumping with the Masai Mara warriors. And then he'll be in Australia jumping with people. And just he's taking this character and he's doing it all over the place, and people love it. Okay, so Jacob Hiller's a stud. Next one's a guy that I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. He's written 3 New York Times bestseller books now. A guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary's dad, his family owned a wine business. At the time, they're doing about $3 million a year. Gary came on. He became the attractive character of this company. Tons of passion, loved wine, loved talking about it. Launched a company or a website called Wine Library TV, where he talked about wine, reviewed wines, and every single day for like 6 years, he made videos about wine and just talked about it. Passionate, built a huge following of people, millions of people who watch these videos, and took his company from doing $3 million a year to $45 million a year by bringing out this attractive character and getting an audience to follow him. It's pretty exciting. And all he did is by sharing his passion for wine. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, well, Russell, this makes sense for like guru type businesses, but what about other companies? Well, these are 2 different software companies that are huge companies, Kissmetrics and Crazy Egg. Both these companies do well, but both these companies are fueled by and the traffic is driven, not so much traffic driven, but the companies are fueled by the attractive character of this guy named Neil Patel. And Neil is seriously one of my favorite marketers online. Like, just a brilliant guy. But he blogs. Like, blogging is his platform. Remember I told you earlier, everyone's got to choose a platform. Gary Vaynerchuk's, Jacob Hiller's both video. For Neil, it's blogging. He's a blogger. So he blogs every single day, blog posts. And his blog posts are so good. He's such a good writer that people like me read them. We share them on Facebook, and they start growing. And boom, all this traffic comes in. And he's teaching people marketing stuff. And because of that, his passion, his excitement, his character he puts out there, people love him. They listen to him, and boom, they start buying his stuff. Okay. Fast food companies. Okay. Subway was a fast food company like every other company. I don't think they were doing that well. And then, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, they found this dude who was severely overweight, ate nothing but Subway for 2 years, lost a ton of weight, and Jared became the attractive character for Subway and literally transformed them from a fast food company to a weight loss plan. And you look at their numbers, look what happened to them after they transformed, and it was crazy. Okay, Jared became this attractive character. They put this character out there, and people who want to lose weight looked at Jared and said, man, if he can lose that much weight by going to Subway, I can do it too. And suddenly people relate to that attractive character, and they start following him. They start doing what he says, right? And that's how Subway became a weight loss plan. Okay, think about movies. What movies are popular? Okay, every movie usually has 1 or 2 A-level celebrity, an attractive character that people are going to be attracted to. A lot of times people have no idea what the movie's even called. Like, hey, you going to the new Tom Cruise movie? Yeah, what's it called? I don't know. Tom Cruise is in it. Hey, you going to a Julia Roberts movie? What's it called? I don't know. Julia's in it though. It's going to be awesome. Okay, take a movie like Ocean's 12. Why does a movie like this do good? Because every famous actor in the world's on there, and I don't care if you like Bernie Mac, if you like George Clooney, if you like whoever you like, you're going to show up because the attractive characters in the movie, and you want to see your hero, the person that you relate to, you want to see him on screen, right? The attractive character works in movies. Okay, insurance. All right, we've got Flo here on the left. We've got this gecko on the right-hand side. I was reading the thing the other day about Flo. She's like the highest paid spokesperson in the world, making millions and millions of dollars a year, and she's this attractive character. Some people hate her, some people love her, but man, she's getting people to buy insurance. Same with this little gecko dude, right? The Geico gecko is the same way. Okay, so attractive character works in insurance. Okay, it literally works in anything, you guys. Think about someone like Howard Stern. Okay, what does Howard Stern sell? Okay, he goes out there, he's controversial, he's annoying, he's whatever you want to say, but he gets this huge audience of people. He's an attractive character. He's got millions and millions and millions of listeners, and all of a sudden the eyeballs are there, and advertisers come to him. Okay, he can literally sell anything. I've got people who sell business books buying ads on his radio station. I got people selling all sorts of stuff because he's got an audience of people there, and because there's an audience, because there's an attractive character, because people are showing up and listening and paying attention, he can sell anything. Okay, think about Oprah. Think about Ellen now. Think about the talk shows. They build an audience through an attractive character, and then they can sell anything. Okay? So for you guys, that's where I think most businesses need to start, is what's your attractive character? Who's the person communicating with the audience? Who's the person that people are going to be attracted to, they're going to listen to, and they're going to want to follow? Okay? Look at my business. Okay? This is, for years I've been sharing my attractive character with people, and I'm not that good looking. I apologize, but I find things in my life that people relate to, and I share them. When I first got started in this business, it was my wife and I just got married, and I was wrestling. I used to talk about wrestling all the time. I'd write emails about it. I'd blog about it. This is before blogs, actually, but I would write stuff about it. And guess what? People who were athletes started buying my products. I would go to a seminar, I would speak, and I'd sell. At the end of the seminar, I'd look in the back of the room, and there'd be a whole bunch of athletes back there. And they'd be like, hey, man, I loved your stuff. Just bought your package. By the way, I used to play football. Hey, by the way, I used to be a volleyball player. And the athletes were attracted to me because that's what I would share with people. A couple years later, my wife and I were trying to get pregnant, and we couldn't. And we went through this big process, and finally we were able to get pregnant with twins. And I didn't talk about that for about a year or so. And I remember one time I was at an event, and I started talking, and I was talking about why I was passionate about business. And just out of the blue, I started sharing the story about my wife and I and how we got pregnant, and how she had found the fertility doctor on Oprah and all this stuff, and how grateful I was that company was willing to go out there and market their business, and how it affected my life and changed our life. And I shared that, and I looked out in the audience, people were crying, and I went and sold my thing at the end. And in the back of the room, guess what? The athletes were still there, but now there were all these other people that showed up. There were wives and mothers and grandparents who started buying my stuff who never bought it before, because I started sharing that aspect of my attractive character. So we start putting things out there, you guys. Different people will be attracted to that, and they will buy because of that. Okay, I was at a seminar one time, and I was speaking, and I was selling this product on like how to make money building a list through email stuff, and I sold at the end of it, and I did great. We made a ton of money. And then right after me, a lady, some of you guys know her, Allie Brown, she spoke right after me. And Allie is awesome, and she got up and she gave almost the same presentation to me. I remember sitting in the audience feeling bad. I'm like, I can't believe that they had her speak right after me. I was talking about list building, she was talking about list building, and she did her whole thing, and she pitched, and I was like, this is gonna be so embarrassing. Like, everybody bought my product, and she did her pitch, and guess what happened? All the women popped up out of the room, ran to the back, and they bought it. And hers was more expensive, and she made more money than me at that event because she attracted a different audience, an audience who's willing to spend more than my audience, apparently. And so the attractive character thing is big, you guys. All of you guys need to figure out what the attractive character is in your business, and then share it. All right. So here is the worksheet that kind of goes with the attractive character. Excuse me. And so as you're starting to kind of design yours, here are all the pieces that are involved. Okay. First, over here we start with the elements of the attractive character, then the identities, and then the storylines. Now, I literally could do a full day-long event just on this concept, but obviously we don't have that much time. So I'm going to kind of go through this fast. But these are all the keys of the attractive character. Okay. So first key is every good attractive character has a backstory. Okay. What is your backstory? How did you get to where you are today, to right now? Okay. You got to share that with your audience, because the backstory is where, like, let's say you're in the weight loss market. If you used to be way overweight, now you're skinny. If you don't tell the backstory, if you were always skinny and you tell people that, they're like, well, you were always skinny. You don't get it. But if you say, hey, I was 300 pounds, I struggled, and then I came through this process, now I'm skinny, you're going to attract people, and they're going to say, man, this person's been where I've been. I can do that as well. Backstory is huge. Second is parables. Okay, it's key that when you are talking to your audience, you are sharing parables. Okay, I've shared a ton of parables with you guys already in the last hour and a half that we've been on. When I teach this in a full, like, 3 or 4 day event, I share a lot more parables, and they're just stories to help people understand a point. Right? I share my fertility story now to illustrate a point. I share my potato gun story when I'm trying to teach people about information marketing. I share different stories, different parables to get people to understand core concepts I'm teaching and make them very simple and easy to understand. Okay, so for all you guys, you got to figure out what parables do you have in your life that you can share with your audience that gets them closer to you, gets them more likely to buy from you. Okay. Number 3 is character flaws. This one's going to be very hard for most of you guys to share your character flaws, but one of the best things you can do is share character flaws with people. When they see that you have flaws, they're going to be more likely to listen to you, to respond to you, and to want to get closer to you. Okay, character flaws are huge. You think about, like, the great superheroes in life. Look at He-Man, Superman, Batman. Like, what's interesting about them is not how perfect they are. What's interesting is the character flaws. Okay, if Superman didn't have kryptonite, he wouldn't be interesting. Okay, if Batman didn't have his family and his loved ones that kept him from doing everything, you know, that kept him morally grounded, he wouldn't be that interesting. The character flaws want to make people interesting, so it's important to be sharing your character flaws. Okay, and then number 4 here is polarity. The biggest problem a lot of people have with attractive characters is that they're trying to be neutral. They don't want to offend anybody, and when you offend nobody, you also don't excite anybody. Okay, being neutral is the worst thing you could do online. You have to be polar. Okay, you have to have some polarity. You think about someone like Howard Stern, like he's built his business off of controversy. And there's a group of people who hate him, who just despise him, who don't like him at all. But there's also a group of people who love him. Okay? Look at my business. There are people, if you type my name into Google, there are people who do not like me. Okay? Because I have some polarity. If I was appealing to everybody all the time, you know, I mean, it's boring. Nobody's going to listen to you. But as soon as you have some polarity and you have some you take stances on things and you push the envelope a little bit, that's when you'll see this polar opposite happen, where a percentage of people start not liking you, but a bigger percent will like you, and those people who like for you will start buying from you, and that's really the key. Polarity is huge. Okay, so those are some of the core elements of the attractive character. Next over here we have the identity. So each attractive character is going to have one identity. Okay. Let's see. So some of you guys, and again, one of these is going to fit for each of you. Some of you guys are going to be the leader. Okay, an example of like a leader attractive character is like Donald Trump, right? I'm the leader. This is what we're doing. Follow me. Okay, number 2 here is the identity of the adventurer or the crusader. When I think about that, I think of like Richard Branson, the rebel billionaire is doing all sorts of cool stuff, and come check me out. Okay, number 3 is like the reporter or the evangelist. That's someone like Larry King. Okay, a lot of people online build their businesses by interviewing people. Okay, so that's one option, to become the reporter, the evangelist, like Larry King. And then number 4, and this is my favorite by far, this is the one that I typically kind of take in my identity, is the reluctant hero. Okay, when I think the reluctant hero, I always think about Frodo Baggins. I think about the ring, and he got sent on this mission, and he didn't want to do it. That wasn't his goal, but he feels drawn to that because it's his mission. It's what he needs to do. Okay, if you look at the storylines I share with people, it's typically more of that thing. Like I didn't sign up one day to become a marketing guru and to teach things to people. But man, there were people getting screwed out there and people teaching bad information. And we built companies, we had success. And you know, because of that, I came out and we started teaching stuff. And I reluctantly became the hero. So the reluctant hero is my personal favorite. But for each of you guys, your personality type is going to fit one of these. You got to figure out which one that is and then embrace it. And you can change throughout your business and throughout your life. Initially, when I got started, I was a reporter. I was interviewing people like crazy because I didn't know anything. And that's how I learned a lot of this stuff. And after I had kind of done that, then I shifted more into like the reluctant hero or more the leader, or just kind of shifted my identity. So you got to pick which one makes the most sense for you and then run with it. Okay, and then as the attractive character, you're going to be communicating with your audience through storylines. Okay, and we're going to talk a lot more about story here in a little bit, but these are 6 core storylines we use a lot. First is loss and redemption. Oh wait, let me see my notes here. So first is loss and redemption. A good example of that is like the movie Taken, right? His daughter was taken from him. He lost her and he had to go redeem it. So what is something in your life that was lost that you had to go and redeem? That's a story you should be sharing with your audience. Number 2, us versus them. I was thinking about the Mac versus PC commercials, right? What kind of us versus them can you create with your audience? Okay, it ties in this whole polarity thing up here a lot of times. So us versus them. Number 3, before and after. That's an easy one, right? Jared at Subway. Here I was before, here he is after. Okay, amazing discovery. Here's a cool new thing I figured out to lose weight, a cool new thing I figured out to boost my brain power, a cool new thing I figured out to make more money. Secret telling. Oh, I can tell you guys this cool secret I found out. That's a pretty easy one. And third-party testimonial. Here's what somebody else said about what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to be talking a lot about communication with your audience, but these are storylines that we weave into everything. Okay, our blog posts, our videos, our emails we go out, these storylines we're using over and over and over again. So if you guys recommend, take this image here. I had one of our guys that came to our event, Mark, call, and he said that this paper right here, he said he spent over $5,000 at seminars trying to learn this. He said this one piece of paper, he said I took it, I framed it, put it next to my computer, is that it makes me so much money every day. Every day I realize which one of these elements am I sharing with my audience today and through what storyline. And that's what he's doing, and that's what all of us should be doing when you're communicating with your audience. Okay.